Hello, so I did a research about generative AI, focusing on whether text-to-image models like DALL-E can create academic figures. This is a very exciting journey for me since I'm curious to figure out what is ChatGPT, how it works, how we can benefit from using it, and whether or not it will replace humans or make humans more powerful. In addition, I've also learned some methodologies and techniques for how to conduct an academic research. And before I go into the reflections and explaining the process of writing my research paper, I want to introduce a little about myself. So basically, my name is Maya Hong. I'm currently 16 years old and I was born in Shenzhen, but I've studied in Hong Kong for more than 7 years. And now I am currently studying in UWC Changshu, China. And for subjects and interests, let's just say that I'm especially interested in DT because I enjoy doing DIY stuff ever since I was a little kid, and I found that this was the closest subject to what I really enjoy doing. And at the same time, I find math really fun because, it's a little bit difficult to do some questions, but then once I get it and I figure out how to do it, it's very satisfying. And the same goes for physics, but then to understand theories and concepts. And then in my free time, I enjoy reading books related to psychology because I find it very cool to learn about how people work in general. And I also enjoy socializing with friends and having deep conversations with people. And then here are the contents I have about what I'm going to present later. First off, learning about AI, picking a topic, and then my reflection. So first off, learning about AI. In the first few lessons, Mr. Taylor taught us a lot of foundation information on different fields of AI applications, and that really helped me understand the different fields of AI, because before I had some understanding, but this helped me know a lot more, and I had a wider choice of what I wanted to research about later on. And then in these lessons, I became curious about image generation, especially related to text-to-image models. And then in the process of writing, how it all came together. So the first step I had was deciding on a topic, right? And at the start, I wanted to do something about whether or not AI can replace product designers, because I'm actually quite passionate about becoming one, and I was curious whether or not I'd be replaced. And then after discussing it with Mr. Taylor, we kind of work towards another topic about how image generation can be used in academic scenarios. For example, a teacher could be teaching something about physics, and then the board can automatically present some visualizations like diagrams to help the students understand. Then for researching, I learned how to research with Google Scholar, how to find good articles, and how to take effective notes. And then third step was writing it. I had to organize my notes and put them together to create paragraphs, and then organize them so that they became an essay. And fourth, finally, I had to do a lot of editing and also add citations to avoid plagiarisms. And then next, for important timestamps, I believe personally for me, there's 3 stages: taking notes, experimentation and analysis, and finalizing. So in the first stage, I actually had to learn and practice how to read academic articles because I found them quite difficult at the start. I wasn't really used to reading stuff like that. But then I realized that as I read through, the reason why I couldn't really understand stuff was that there are sometimes new words to me, and that was kind of an obstacle. So once I was able to learn that I had to search up these things and understand the most basic concept, it became a lot more easier and fun. And then for the experimentation and analysis, I used a stable diffusion model to see whether or not it can generate academic diagrams in different scenarios. I thought that was pretty cool to experiment with and also find patterns to analyze. And then finally, for the finalizing, it was just when everything came together. And then for research and note-taking, I've already covered this earlier. It's just basically how I learned to take notes and how I learned to process the articles I've searched up. And here is the experimenting and analysis. And basically, my aim is to test whether or not existing image generation models can produce academic diagrams using class like math and physics. And then the first step I had to do was come up with 10 prompts myself, and they were quite specific with the settings. So what was produced is that the whiteboard, the contents were quite random. However, their settings were accurate. For example, perhaps the image would be a classroom with teachers there, but then the contents were nothing related to what I had inputted. And then so in the second round, I edited the prompts to focus more on the contents, like, for example, what is on the whiteboard itself, and not so much on the environment. And that helped a little bit. It improved the overall presentation of the output. However, they were still just gibberish, like the diagrams were not accurate. They weren't really related to the academic ones, and words, and there were no actual words. And then for the third one, I used ChatGPT to come up with prompts to see whether or not it can do things. And then the diagrams were more artsy in a way, but then the words were still gibberish. So some of the key findings I've learned throughout the process of researching is that, first off, deep generative images, text-image, and zero-shot learning. So for the deep generative image, I learned that it is a subfield of machine learning called deep learning. It includes deep neural networks and analyzes data sets to find patterns. And then sometimes the deep neural networks like CNN are very advanced in image processing. And for text to image, it involves like natural language processing to analyze the input, and it also involves computer vision as well as cross-model processing to match up the text and images. And for zero-shot learning, I found this specifically quite interesting, is that it's an advanced machine learning techniques, and then the models are trained and practiced on unlabeled data sets, and then they generalize unseen classes and categorizes them by finding similarities. I think it is really cool because it's very efficient and can be used in many different scenarios. And after this experience, I think I've gained a lot more knowledge on artificial intelligence. At the start, I just thought it was about making products smart and automatic. But now that I know, they have such a wide range of applications. For example, it can be used in image generation, cross-model applications, and what really surprised me was that it can even generate videos through audios and much more. In the future, I'll try to definitely dive deeper into AI and perhaps do more research papers on different topics, because this was a very rewarding experience for me. At the same time, I might actually try to create the model I was researching and writing about within my paper, but of course I would have to find professionals. But yeah, overall, I think this is a fantastic experience. Thank you.